Hello, hello, hello. We are using this as a submission for the Sonic Isometric Trilogy, as well as a breakdown of each individual game that goes along with that. So before the first game starts, everything in the Sonic ISO trilogy is set up to run back to back to back. Everything is muted when it's necessarily muted and needs to come into play when it comes into play. So the first game is SegaSonic, and it is played on the MAME emulator. We are using an Xbox One controller that's connected to our PC, but we're running this on MAME. So Sega Sonic, we're doing the beat the game single player, and we have chosen Sonic. You can choose any character. They're essentially the same. So the first thing we have to do is break out of that. You can't actually die there. You'll get pushed through if you don't break out. But we're in our first level, Volcanic Vault, which is somewhat of a tutorial, if you call it a tutorial. But again, this is an arcade game, so you actually, can't really have a tutorial when it comes down to that. So you'll actually kind of see right there, like kind of the world map, and then it blows us into this volcano. So first thing is we're going to run down this hill, trying to escape this giant molten lava ball. It gets really, really close to us to the end, but we're just going to kind of fall down. And Sonic screams as he's falling. We land on this, and the ball lands on that, and then we get shot up into the air through the ground, and we actually have to press the jump button to get out. We run on this little conveyor belt, and we jump over. We have to actually backtrack a little bit. If you don't backtrack fast enough, you'll do what I did there, which Sonic will kind of like run along the edge, and like he'll fall in there. We do that a few times. We then have to hold up and climb up this wooden bridge up here. Then we just got to run down here. We're almost to the end of the level. We got to dodge the sections. There's falling ground that doesn't exist, is on the top and the bottom of those pieces. They're in the same spot each time. And we have cleared a volcanic vault. So that is the first thing there. This is a Japanese exclusive only game. There's like 2 or 3, I believe, actual cabinets in America. The one that I closest know, there is one that's actually in Florida. But I have to ask one of our other fellow runners more specifics there. The audio for this game is actually pretty fantastic. I know we don't have a lot of audio when we're doing this, as I'm doing our voiceover for this, but it's the music's actually really, really good, as well as the noises that Eggman makes, as well as when Sonic kind of jumps off and screams and stuff like that there as well. Well, now we are in our second stage. We are in Icy Isle. We are going to be kind of, the whole ice gimmick. Now, there's not too many. Actually, I'll lie. There is ice physics here, which is unfortunate. We got to first cross over this platform here. It kind of breaks, then we get shot back up there. We can't do anything. This is kind of like the little auto part of the game. Here is the ice physics. It's not terrible, but if you do hit one of those spikes there, like the spears, it'll actually kind of bounce you backwards, so it does take a little bit there, but I just kind of go up to it and get stuck purposely. Then we're going to run down this section here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to kind of hold that there. We got to make a couple of jumps each time onto different platforms. One is coming up here that's moving away from us, so we're going to make that jump on that and then jump across as it's going. We should be able to make each of those jumps as we do it properly, and we don't have to wait. And that's already Icy Isle, a very short ice level, which is the best types of ice levels, very, very short, so it does not affect us at all there. So now we are going to go into Desert Dodge. This is a little bit of a longer stage with some different types of, I don't want to call them platforms, environment, ground, if you would even call it that. The ground does change surfaces for this. So we're going to start here by running down to the left, and we're just going to try to stay in the middle as the sand is kind of caving in towards us. If we stay in the middle, we won't actually have any issues. And then this isn't fully intentional, but it's not terrible if we get stuck in the middle. It just teleports us to the other side for that. We try to do the same thing. We want to stay in the middle, but if you start playing this game, when you're working that down right, you can't actually just like stay in that angle. So as you see, I'm staying straight. I'm just able to hold left. If I'm going a different view, you'll see Sonic kind of move back and forth, because the game with the controller actually can't have Sonic just hold that one direction. But like there we were holding up, now we're holding left again. We're kind of escaping this giant like centipede type animal bug thingamajig. a tremor, if you will. But it's gone past us, so now we're like in some little quicksand. We're in some softer sand, so we can't fully run. You also can't jump over into it and then go, because once you jump, as you saw, Sonic will like teleport right to the ground from when we're going there. So then we're getting a little bit more quicksandish there. It's a little bit faster, but we ignore this actual sinkhole. We're still going, we're still pushing on. We're getting close to the end of the stage here. And there it is. We were able to outrun those little tornadoes. And we have beat Desert Dodge. We have dodged those sand tornadoes. There we go. We don't want to collect out a lot of rings. It doesn't matter. Rings don't really matter in this game for what we're doing. And it helps minimize the ending scene there. So now we are headed to Trap Tower. We're going to Trap Tower. Trap Tower does as you would, kind of think. It does have a bunch of little traps, a bunch of little contraptions that we're trying to get away. And I believe this is the first time that we will see a boss fight. Or I'm thinking the wrong stage. But anyways, we're going through here. So we're avoiding these traps. So we're just going to run up to it. Now, there is a way to fully keep running and jumping. You would jump over some of those. It has done me faster just to kind of run up to it, slow down, and keep going. That way we don't get crushed, and that way we don't bonk into it, because when you bonk into it, you'll get hit backwards, and then you'll actually lose time, and then you'll get hit back into that rolling spike thing that's attacking you, and we don't want any of that there. So now we're climbing the giant wall, and our goal is to avoid these explosions. If you walk fast enough forward up, you actually can dodge those, and unfortunately I get hit twice and take a death. The good thing about this game is we're not playing on an actual arcade cam, that we don't need quarters to play the game. So we can just kind of instantly reset us, and it just picks us up right where we're at, and we can keep continuing. So that is Trap Tower. That was not the boss fight. This next level, Landside Limbo, is our first boss fight. We only got 8 rings, 20%, so another good little quick there. We lost time in this PB attempt because of the damage that we took and kind of getting shot off of the wall there. Alright, so now we head into Landslide Limbo. So Landslide Limbo, so the cool thing about each of these stages, it kind of they correlate with each other. So as you're leaving one stage, the kind of previous stage kind of leads into the new stage. That's a cool little mechanic thing that they have there. Here's, to me, one of the hardest things to do in this game is to grab those swings. You can't jump off when it wants you to jump off. It does it on its own, but to grab it can be very finicky at times. And I have lost tons of time just to try to grab those there. We got shot over a couple of little catapults, and we're still making our way now as the ground is breaking around us. If we pick the same route each time, we're going to be okay, which puts us right in the middle. So as long as we stay in the middle, we will not die right there. Even though the arrows point to the left, we want to go to the right, so it's kind of like a fake wall, cartoon style there. And now we're waking our way up to the hill to beat the first boss, and really only actual boss fight. This is just a terrible boss fight, just perspective, the way it controls. I got to get to a good spot. If you get to a good spot, it works. But you can see I'm not hitting him every single attack that I'm jumping. So it's if I'm jumping too soon, then I'll hit too high and it won't register. If I jump too late, then I'll hit too low and it won't register, and all that stuff there. So we're just kind of basically damage boost our way through the fight. And once we get into a correct spot, we can just hold up and left, and we get it. After the necessary hits, the boss blows up and we jump in the hole. And we have beat Landslide Limbo. And now we are headed to the worst stage in the game. I despise this stage, and it's only 2 specific parts of the stage that are absolutely terrible. And I'll explain that as we get there. Alright. So Wild Water Way. So we start off on top of this bridge, and we actually have to run the edge of the bridge and then make Sonic fall off. So we just kind of run off we're going to fall off there. It's faster to do it quicker that way. And then we get dunked into some water. Don't worry. We're not going to hear any kind of death music here. So we're just going to hold down and left and let Sonic kind of run against the wall. He moves the exact same speed as if he wasn't going against this wall here. So the wall does not slow us down. And we will not take any damage whatsoever running against the wall here. So we basically don't have any issues for about 25-30 seconds while we're in here. As you can see, I even kind of look down a little bit. I'm like, whatever, because I know it does not matter what I do here. We're going to get to the end the exact same time. The one spot to make this a little bit faster is when we get closer to the end, I realize it, and I'm pushing up before the water says go. So then we're just going to climb this. So it's similar to those explosions that we had, but now it said it's water breaking through. We want to make sure we just climb fast enough and straight enough, and then we won't get hit by water. And now here's the worst section of the entire game. We're going to take a dunk a bunch of times because no matter how you control Sonic, it just does not cooperate, and you go in different directions. Like, it dunked in water, I can't peel off. It does not cooperate. So it's really faster just to keep kind of dying and just let the game push you forward as far as you can. There are unfortunately 2 sections to this. Once you beat the 2 sections, the level is really short. It's basically over once we're done. But sometimes the game even basically puts us in the water right when it brings us up. And I hit the edge, and I can kind of get dunked in 2 seconds, as you can see here. So we're just really just pushing forward, kind of damage boosting as much as we can as we're going. And then you can see there's a little ledge, and we're almost done with this here. So we're going to try to make one more side jump, and we're done with this stage. And that's Wild Waterways. And again, that section is just so frustrating because that's the one direction that does not cooperate with Sonic, going from controller to trackball. But now we are in our last level of the game. We are in Eggman's Tower. We are at the end of SegaSonic. All right, we are at the end of SegaSonic. So we have one stage left. There is no boss fight here. It's basically just kind of a Metroid-esque get out of the level type thing. The first thing we're going to do is similar to the one stage is we're going to try not to run into that, even unfortunately we do and get hit by that. We basically just want to run up to it, stop, and then just go when it goes. Now you can jump over these spiky parts, but if you kind of jump over the wrong ones, you get hit back, and it's much more consistent just to run into them, not actually make contact with them, but run into them and then just keep going. We're going to keep holding down and right, kind of shift back and forth. As you can see, that again is the one direction that does not cooperate, and this direction as well. As you can see, I'm like zigzagging because I can't just hold a direction and Sonic goes there. The down direction does work nicely here. So I'm just going to keep pushing forward here. Hopefully I don't continue to take damage. We just want to walk up to them and then go through there. We bonked twice, not the end of the world. But we got through here. We got one more section where the ground falls from underneath us. And as we go through here, we normally take a death towards the end. It's really, really hard to beat that timing, but we can do it. But it's very, very finicky. And then we got one more section here. We're going to run up to Eggman. We're going to say, hey, Eggman, what's going on? He lets us in for whatever reason. I don't know why. He's laughing and basically is telling us, I just set off a self-destruct and you're not going to be able to get out. Ha, 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 I tricked you and you're going to die. So we have 20 seconds to essentially run down here. Now, I don't know how fast Eggman really is because we don't actually see him. We don't ever actually pass Eggman. I guess he's faster than Sonic, which some Sonic lore, I guess, would hold true. But we're just going to run down here, keep going on basically these diagonal platforms. We leave the screen, and once we are out, boom, building blows up, and that is the end of SegaSonic.